Today on The Big Story, there's a new friend on the road for motorists, fuel kaki. Find out how to get the best petrol deals in Singapore. The Philippines' Taal volcano eruption causes chaos and people are panicking. ST's Philippines correspondent is at ground zero to tell us more. More women are applying for financial maintenance support and they need not be divorced from their husbands to receive money. It's the start of the third week of the new year. You're watching The Big Story, where we will discuss the hottest topics of the day and explain why they matter. I'm Haryanto Diman, coming to you live from the Straits Times newsroom. Good news to motorists, a new retail petrol price comparison website is launched today. Fuel Kaki is a one-stop information portal on retail petrol prices and promotions in Singapore. The Consumers Association of Singapore, or CASE, launched an online petrol pump price comparison website today. Fuel Kaki is the first interactive website allowing users to compare actual spending across petrol brands. It can calculate the effective price a consumer pays based on ongoing promotions and methods of payment, such as with credit cards or fuel cards. Separately, while SPC has resisted the latest pump price increase, Caltex has reverted to the pre-rise pump rates. Now, to share more on Fuel Kaki, we have senior transport correspondent Christopher Tan. Welcome, Chris.
Pleasure.
Now, Chris, if you could share with us more on the features of the Fuel Kaki site.
So the thing about petrol prices in Singapore is that it's not always easy to compare. For one, not everybody posts their prices on their websites. Yeah. Some people don't, right? And also you have to go to various websites, individual websites, to find out what the rates are. So what this new portal does is that it collates everything in one stop,
right,
and it's interactive. So in 4 easy steps, you can compare prices as well as the cards that you use.
Okay.
I mean, there are so many credit cards out there, loyalty cards out there.
Yeah.
So what you do is just click.
Right.
Just click and it will give you a comparison of all the prices that you eventually pay.
Okay. With all the promotions and whatever deals as well.
That's right.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. That is going to be very helpful for a lot of motorists.
I think so. So.
Now, let's move on to the latest pump price increase, right? Of course, Chris, how can motorists get better mileage from their vehicles?
Right. Now, beyond going for the cheapest petrol that you can find in town, there are ways that you can save. And driving habits is probably the biggest determinant of how much you spend on your fuel at the end of the day. So I think things like keeping your tires well inflated.
Yeah.
In fact, I like to keep them a little bit overinflated, just a little bit, and drive with your eyes open. I mean, be aware of traffic conditions. Then you can avoid starting and stopping, accelerating and braking.
Right.
If you minimize those and just cruise at a very measured pace, with very light on the throttle, then it goes a long way in saving fuel, in extending the efficiency of your car.
Right. Now, the reason why I'm asking you this, Chris, regarding the pump price increase, because a lot of people have this impression, right, that petrol prices, they are sort of uniform, right, across board. So, putting together then with Fuel Kaki, how will the site kind of like help? Because the impression that prices are the same.
I think the impression is not unfounded. For quite a long time, they seem to be, that way.
Yeah.
But with the entry of new players in the last couple of years, we see more variance in prices. And as Fuel Kaki will show, if you go into the site, there are actually quite a lot of differences in the pricing.
Right. Okay.
And they may be just a few cents apart. But over the course of a year, your consumption pattern could actually result in quite a few dollars saved.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think in the case of the most expensive fuel and the least expensive fuel, as you would see on the site right now, you could save $50 a month, which is
Oh
quite
wow,
substantial.
yeah, that is quite substantial actually. In fact, $50 is almost like a full petrol.
Yeah,
pump as well
for some cars,
right?
it could be up to a full tank, yeah.
Yeah, up to a full tank.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so
Very
much.
small car.
For a small car, exactly. But yeah, right, it is quite substantial still. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Chris, for coming to the show to share more on this new website that's just been launched, Fuel Kaki. Now you can, of course, check out the website that is fuelkaki.sg. To read more on Chris's story, you can also check it out on our website, straitstimes.com. Now, moving on to overseas news, a mass evacuation is underway in the Philippines after the volcano Taal erupted, triggering some 75 earthquakes, shot up tons of ash into the sky and spewing lava. There are plans to evacuate as many as 200,000 people. Dozens of towns and urban areas all the way to Metro Manila, including the main business district of Makati City, are enduring heavy ash fall. Dozens of towns and urban areas all the way to Metro Manila, including the main business district of Makati City, are enduring heavy ash fall. Officials have ordered schools and government offices to shut and advised private businesses to do the same. Philippine tourism is also bracing for the worst. January has typically been the most popular month for Philippine tourism. The main international airport partially resumed today after it was closed from yesterday due to volcanic ash fall. Joining us right now is Straits Times Philippines correspondent Raul Denzel, who is in Philippines, Manila, to give us the latest updates on the situation. Hi, Raul.
Hi.
Hi, Raul. If you could tell us what is the situation now on the ground? I can see from your background, it is covered. There is no visibility at all. What is happening right now?
I'm behind me is actually Taal volcano, which erupted on Sunday. Right now, there's clouds are covering the volcano, but earlier today at around 1 p.m., there was still a column of ash coming out of the crater. Right now, I'm in Tagaytay City. This is a resort city that is popular with tourists and local travelers because it offers a picturesque view of the volcano along its ridge. Since the eruption on Sunday, the city has shut down. Most of the restaurants here are closed. Most of the hotels, most of the guests in hotels have checked out and headed back to Manila. There's no power or running water here right now in the city. So right now, the city has, like I said, the city has basically shut down and people are...
And Raul, how close are you right now to the site of the volcano?
I'm about a few kilometers from the crater. Which is still inside the danger zone.
The danger zone.
People here are not. Okay, sure. Go on.
And Raul, how are the people coping there right now in the area around the site? I understand that many have been evacuated, but some could not move out of the villages due to lack of transport as well as poor visibility. Some have even refused to leave their homes and farms.
The island, the small island where the volcano is located, everyone there has been evacuated. But if the island is inside a lake, so along the coastlines of the lake, there are fishing communities there. Some of the people who live in these communities have evacuated. Many of them have evacuated, but some have elected to stay. Because they're afraid of leaving their houses, their farmlands, their fishing implements. And today there hasn't been that much dramatic eruption as yesterday, and so there is a sense of people are somehow maybe appeased and are electing to stay until the situation probably escalates again. And seismologists are saying that the situation here right now, they cannot assure when the next powerful eruption will take place. But they do say that an imminent eruption is likely. Whether it's in the next hours or in the next couple of days, they cannot say. And so I'm.
And Raul, of course, this is not the first time such an eruption has happened before. How are the authorities dealing with this?
The authorities have primarily focused on evacuating right now to minimize losses, and from current reports, there hasn't been any report of casualties directly related to the eruption. And they are also positioning their resources to help those who would have to be evacuated. And I guess that's the measures. And they're sending. I saw emergency vehicles, ambulances, fire trucks running through the highway leading to districts affected by the eruption. And I think these are being used mainly to clear roads, because as I understand, roads leading to the most affected districts are caked in mud right now, and it's very difficult to reach these districts because of the mud and the debris and the ash around the area.
Well, thank you so much, Rahul. Of course, do keep safe wherever you are in Manila, and certainly our thoughts and prayers to those affected by the volcano eruption. Now let's move on to What's Trending, where Dylan will share with us what's trending in the internetverse. Over to you, Dylan.
Thanks, Haranto. It's time for What's Trending. Picture this, your idol settling your bill at a bar? Sound too good to be true? Well, a few lucky fans were in for a treat as they were treated, pun intended, by Taiwanese superstar Jay Chou, who was in Singapore last weekend for 2 shows at the National Stadium. Chou had posted a clip of his concert on Friday along with the caption, "If you happen to see me tomorrow in any restaurant, don't be shy. Say hi and it's my treat." And it seems like he really did. The singer posted on his Instagram story photos of himself with fans whose bills he had settled. How sweet. Now moving on, badminton world number 1 Kento Momota has been injured in a car accident in Malaysia, with the driver of the vehicle killed in the crash. The crash took place in the early hours of Monday morning, just hours after Momota secured his first victory of the season at the Malaysian Masters. They were en route to Kuala Lumpur International Airport when the hired van they were in rammed into the rear of a 30-ton truck. Momota, who was with 3 other players, escaped with minor injuries. And lastly, think happily ever after only happens in the movies? Think again. A Sleeping Beauty proposal video has gone viral after a man secretly edited Sleeping Beauty to spring a surprise on his girlfriend inside a movie theatre in Boston. With the help of an animator, Mr. Lee Lackler digitally inserted himself and his girlfriend into the roles of the main characters in the 1959 animated movie. Mr. Lackler changed the key scene where Princess Aurora is woken by Prince Philip, where he got someone to throw him the ring at that precise moment. She said yes. Congratulations to the happy couple. I'm Dylan Ang, and that's all we have for What's Trending today. If you've seen a story you want to share, tell us on Straits Times Facebook page.
Wow, thanks Dylan. Mr. Lackler certainly set the bar really high for all the guys out there. Now moving on to our last segment, many would assume that maintenance can only be claimed only after divorce, but that is not true, according to lawyers whom ST spoke to. Now figures released for the first time by the Family Justice Courts show that many applicants of maintenance orders are women still married to their husbands. 2/3 of about 1,300 applications filed yearly between 2016 and 2018 were by wives against their husbands for financial support for themselves or their children. The remaining 1/3 were filed by other family members, such as former wives, the child's grandparents, and legal guardians. Under the Women's Charter, the wife can apply for maintenance against her husband during their marriage if he has neglected or refused to provide reasonable maintenance for her. The amount in maintenance ordered ranges from a few $100s a month to about $20,000 a month, said lawyers about the cases they have handled. We have our Senior Social Affairs Correspondent Teresa Tan to tell us more. Welcome, Teresa. Now, Teresa, even though many women work and have their own incomes, the legal provision for husbands to provide for their families is still necessary. Now, could you share more on what lawyers you spoke to have said about this?
Well, as you know, there's quite a number of women who gave up their jobs to look after their children, so they definitely would need their husbands to provide for them. And then while there are many working moms, by and large, women do generally earn less than their husbands. or there's the other group who work part-time, so they will still need their husbands to provide.
Right.
So I think lawyers, can generally agree that, in this day and age, although many women do work, this legal provision for the men to provide for them still is important and is crucial. Yeah.
Now, Teresa, in your story, you briefly shared regarding stories of women who have demanded maintenance, and you shared also what the kind of circumstances that they are in. More on that.
Okay, so many of them would have put up with their deadbeat husbands for years, before they go to court to ask for maintenance. Usually there is a trigger or the straw that breaks the camel's back, as lawyers say. For example, they might have found that their husbands are cheating on them, or their husbands might have turned abusive, and often this is their last resort. They really need the money, if not, they can't survive. So, for example, there was this woman I spoke to, let's call her Alice.
Yeah, okay.
She put up with a husband that's less than desirable on many fronts.
Yeah.
When their child was a toddler, he left her to live with the mistress, and he stopped giving her or their daughter any money.
Yeah.
So Alice had no choice but to, take him to court to demand maintenance, right? Because how is she going to, support the both of them?
Yeah.
So he did give her some maintenance. After that, he pleaded for forgiveness. So she said she wanted to give him a second chance. So she took him back. At the same time, after taking him back, she cancelled the maintenance claims.
Okay.
So, and then after that, they did not live happily ever after. He started becoming abusive. And once, I think he put a knife to her neck, during an argument. And then to her horror, she discovered that he was still seeing the other woman.
Okay.
So after about 10 years of this, she felt she could not take it anymore, and then she filed for a divorce last year.
Right.
So these are some of the circumstances or stories that lawyers are sharing. Yeah.
Yeah. And Teresa, of course, for instance, like the case of Alice, she had difficulties also getting maintenance, the monthly maintenance from their partners. Is there any kind of help for these people, especially, when we talk about really severe and tough cases where wives or even former wives are having difficulties getting maintenance from their partners?
Yes, this is a real problem to many, many women.
Yeah.
So they can go to court to ask the courts to enforce the maintenance order. So what the courts can do is to, for example, order the man's employer to credit the maintenance directly into the women's account.
Okay.
The man can be ordered to go for financial counseling or to perform community service if he defaults again.
Yeah.
He can be put on a credit blacklist, which makes it harder for him to obtain loans,
Okay.
So on and so forth. And in extreme cases, these are really extreme cases, really recalcitrant men can be jailed for failing to pay maintenance. But these are really recalcitrant and in extreme cases.
Extreme cases, right.
Yeah, but having said that, it is very tedious and tiring for women to go repeatedly to court to ask the courts to enforce these orders.
Yeah, right. Thank you so much, Teresa, for coming on to the show to share more on this. To read the stories that Teresa have written, you can check it out on our Straits Times website. There we have it, our top stories for today. For more news and videos, do log on to our website, straitstimes.com. Once again, I'm Haryanto. See you tomorrow for more stories on The Big Story.